She was the reason the billion-dollar deal existed, and they didn't even look her in the eye. No handshake. No respect. 24 hours later, the entire project crumbled. All because someone ignored the one woman who could end it all. This isn't just a story about power. It's about how disrespect destroys everything. Amara Lewis stood at the edge of the executive brunch. She extended her hand, firm, polite, toward Rebecca Langston, the acclaimed CEO. Rebecca glanced at her, then turned away. No word. No nod. Nothing. Instead, she smiled at the two white men beside Amara, shook their hands, laughed softly. Around them, executives stiffened. A few looked away. No one intervened. Amara slowly lowered her hand. Not embarrassed. Not angry. Just still. Her face revealed nothing. But behind her eyes, a decision began to form. In that moment, a billion-dollar empire unknowingly set itself on fire. Not all power sits at the table. Some funds the table itself. Amara Lewis wasn't just another face in the crowd. She was the anonymous force behind the $5 billion deal, the one no one saw coming. A PhD in economics. A legacy of rebuilding broken sectors. No headlines. No boardroom spotlight. Only results that spoke for her. Her quiet $2 billion investment wasn't a contribution, it was the cornerstone. Today was the first time she ever showed up in person. And the moment she did, she was ignored, as if she were invisible. But Amara wasn't there for appearances, she was there to make a decision. When ego meets silence, only one survives. Rebecca Langston was the name on the headlines, polished, poised, perfectly positioned. An heiress with media charm and old money swagger. She didn't see Amara's presence. She saw a suit she didn't recognize, and dismissed it. No one corrected her. They rarely ever do. The snub was subtle, but the camera didn't miss a second. The clip hit social media by nightfall. Silent. Brutal. Viral. And still, Rebecca laughed through interviews, unaware of the storm brewing. But Rebecca didn't care. She still didn't know who she had just dismissed. Buried in fine print was a sword with no warning. Deep in the paperwork, a junior legal analyst paused. A single clause stood out. Amara Lewis held the right to withdraw funding, with 24 hours' notice. No penalties. No approvals. She read it once. Then again. Calmly, she signed. And pressed send. Elsewhere, Rebecca basked in the spotlight. Interviews, applause, flawless headlines. Her team popped champagne over growth forecasts and record investor interest. No one questioned where the foundation of it all truly came from. What they didn't know was, the money was already gone. It took one email to bring down $5 billion of ego. The boardroom went still as the notice arrived, funding withdrawn, effective immediately. Cited reason: executive misconduct. Unacceptable treatment of key personnel. Within minutes, phones lit up. Calendars cleared. Crisis meetings called. By morning, the stock had started to slide. Confidence evaporated. Confused voices filled the room, until someone whispered, "That woman you ignored? She was the money." Rebecca froze, pale, wide-eyed. "How was I supposed to know?" she whispered. But that's exactly the point. She didn't know, because she didn't care to. What starts in silence doesn't always stay there. The footage explodes across social media. The hashtag is everywhere. Hashtag respect the real investor. Media outlets flip sides overnight. Old allies retreat. PR firms go into overdrive. Rebecca issues a statement. Then another. But the tone is wrong. The timing worse. Investors grow wary. Contracts are reread. Inside the boardroom, silence grows louder than spin. What began as a business deal is now a cultural reckoning. The story has changed. This isn't about funding anymore. And Amara. She hasn't said a single word. When one door closes, a smarter one opens. Amara didn't retaliate publicly. She simply moved her money. Silently. Strategically. Her $2 billion found a new home, an inclusive firm with leadership that looked like progress. The very same infrastructure project. Back in motion. Only this time, Rebecca was out. A new CEO stepped in. The board diversified. The narrative shifted. Amara. She returned to the shadows. No interviews. No statements. But across the industry, her name echoed louder than ever before. Because this time, the room won't forget who actually built it. Sometimes, the loudest message is delivered in absolute silence. This was never just about a handshake. It was about decades of dismissal. About the women like Amara, overlooked, underestimated, unseen. Until one moment reminds the world. They've always been the ones signing the checks. Boardrooms start to look different. Policies shift. And silence begins to sound like authority. Because when quiet power speaks, even through absence, people listen. Respect isn't a courtesy anymore. It's a requirement. Because sometimes, the most powerful move is walking away.